Hey y'all, it's been like 2 years since I did a video game video. During that time, a lot has happened. I sold all of my video games ever since the Yoshi's Cookie video. I sold most of them to go travel a lot, and travel I have, and it's been good. But there's been a hole in my heart to like collect games and kind of like the thrill of doing that. And so I was thinking about what system I'd want to collect again. My first retro system ever was the Game Boy. That's what I asked for when I was a kid for Christmas one year, and that's what I got. And so I decided on collecting for Game Boy again. The goal is to kind of collect every North American original Game Boy game, so that's not including Game Boy Color. I'm not even including like the black cartridges necessarily, although I have a few Game Boy Color games and a few black cartridges. So what I want to do today is show you my small but mighty Game Boy collection, and I can kind of tell some stories behind it. My only system right now is this berry colored Game Boy Color. I actually did some work to this to make it look. So I replaced the screen, I replaced the glass lens, and I also replaced the shell from a grape color to a berry color. And I like it a lot. The screens aren't lit, right? Which at first, and you know, at night, it's kind of annoying and it sucks. But the way that like it looks in the light is really good. And I feel good. It feels like I'm kind of reading a book in some weird way, which is bad, right? But it's not bad, it's really good. I'm just gonna go in no particular order. We're back, a dinosaur story. I don't know. I was playing it, and it's actually a really cool platformer. I actually don't know if it's really cool. I got this in kind of like a bulk deal on Craigslist. So I wasn't looking for this game. It was just there. Box Soul. This game is like, one thing about the Game Boy that's really awesome is that like the puzzle games on it are really good because they're portable, and the way that they're designed is kind of like ultimate pick up and play. I saw that this was like kind of like a box moving puzzle game. I kind of wanted it because it seems like something that would work well on Game Boy. And it does, and it's actually very challenging. The first level, you'd expect it to be like really easy, right? You just move the block, but it's not. And it's kind of like, it makes you think really good. And but yeah, Box Soul, cool game. Next is Super Return of the Jedi. I never liked the Super Star Wars games. They're just hard and like not that fun. Like at first you're like, whoa, a Star Wars game, and it looks kind of like cool, like it has like the stuff from the movies. And then you play it like for 5 minutes and you're like, oh, never mind. Yeah, this is lame. I played this for 5 minutes and I was like, yep, it's kind of lame.
It's not true. That's impossible!
This is a big one for me. I know this is like a very common game. Also a really jank game. It's Super Mario Land. Everyone talks about Super Mario Land 2 being one of the best Super Mario games. Super Mario Land 2 is definitely up there in like people's enjoyment. Mario Land is not, because people say it's weird and it's janky, because it is. The physics in this game are crazy, and Mario's small and everything's weird. And like the Sarasa Land, or whatever it's called, that you play in is not Mushroom Kingdom, and it's Daisy and not Peach. But this is one of my favorite Game Boy games, alongside Link's Awakening, over Super Mario Land 2. I don't know why. I think it's the jankiness of this game that kind of like screams Game Boy to me, like in the same way that Link's Awakening kind of like flipped a lot of conventional Zelda tropes on its head to make something kind of unique. Super Mario Land, I don't think it was trying to do that necessarily. I think they were just struggling to bring Mario onto a handheld. But in doing that, they created something that's really unique. And there's like the shoot 'em up levels with like the submarine. I don't know, there's a lot to love in this game that I think. Also, it's a very short game, like 20 minutes. This game's very generous and it's very short. And it's a good experience. Dr. Mario. I don't know what needs to be said about Dr. Mario besides that it's Dr. Mario. I think the one thing that's cool about, well, there's no color, right? And so like that's your first thought, is that, well, Dr. Mario is kind of like a game that relies on the pills being colored so you can match them. Well, in this game, it's like there's white, and then there's checkered, and then there's black, instead of the red, blue, and yellow, which that's okay. Like, it makes it a little hard to play, especially if you don't have good light on your Game Boy and you're trying to play in the dark. You cannot see. This is like a game that you can play in the daylight, and only the daylight, or a worm light or something like that. I like Dr. Mario a lot, and so I'm glad to have it. This is the game that by far I've spent the most time in. That's the Pokemon trading card game. This is a really fun game, and I feel like a lot of people don't give it a chance because you either don't know how to play the Pokemon card game, or it just seems like like, oh, why would I get that Pokemon game? Why would I play that when there's all the mainline Pokemon games on Game Boy? It's the original Pokemon rules, so it doesn't feel modern at all. It's only the first 3 sets of Pokemon, I think, so it's base set, Jungle, and Fossil. And there's a few like Game Boy exclusive cards thrown in, but it's a really fun game almost for that reason, and it's a good way to like kind of like travel back in time and see what Pokemon was like back then. But it's also a good way to introduce yourself to the card game if you haven't played it. And you have to go to all your gyms, and then there's like a Elite Four kind of thing. And the music's great, and this is a really charming game that I feel like a lot of people don't play because of the fact that it's the card game. But hey, if you like opening Pokemon card packs, or if you're interested in playing the TCG, or if you just like Pokemon, I think this is a good game. Although this is Game Boy Color, so it doesn't count in my official North American Game Boy collection, but whatever. I don't have Tetris yet, which is surprising because that's like the most common Game Boy game, but I do have Tetris Plus. The only reason I got this was because they didn't have the original Tetris, but they had this at the store. This game doesn't have the color that Tetris DX has, and it doesn't have the iconicness of the original Tetris, and so I am not wowed by this. It's just Tetris, and it has a few other modes to it, but I much prefer the original Game Boy Tetris, and I think it plays a little bit better too. This one's like a little bit slower. This is another one I got in kind of a bulk Craigslist deal that I don't really care too much about. It's Superman. And my alarms went off because of Superman 64. This game's okay. I played it for also like 5 minutes, and you can just fly around and punch guys out of a window. You know, Superman, I don't know. I almost forgot about golf. I like golf games. I love like the Everybody's Golf, Hot Shots Golf series. And also like Wii Sports Golf is great. And so I'm always curious to try out golf games because I think they can be fun. And this one is like NES golf, and so it's not as intuitive or as fun as like modern golf games. It's kind of like a little bit slower and more tedious, but it's kind of charming. And on the you can see on like the cover here, there's Mario. And this is this is my first retro game I ever owned, actually. It's Revenge of the Gator Pinball. I don't know how many people know about this game. It's kind of a common Game Boy game. You can get it for pretty cheap, and it was developed by HAL Laboratories, which of course did Kirby. Don't sleep on it just because it's pinball. You know, you just want to play a fun game on your Game Boy. This is like a really fluid, fun, kind of like action-packed game. This game like runs really smooth, and there's a lot of different like levels to the pinball board, and it's kind of feels more like an adventure. It's like weirdly gator themed, of course, and like I don't know, it has a lot of charm. Does anyone know about this game? I don't know. Let me know if you know about this game, and if you played it, and if you love it. And if you haven't, I urge you to try it out like on an emulator, or just pick it up at your local video game store. It's probably like $10. I plan on doing a video on these one day. I joke that I'm gonna make the video for these games. You'll see. The first game is Hamster Paradise. It's a Game Boy Color game, and you take care of a hamster. Yeah. The next game is Hamster Paradise 2. This is a game for the Game Boy Color, and you take care of, I think, up to 2 hamsters, so that's pretty cool. The next game I actually have in the box, and it's Hamster Paradise 3. This is a game for the Game Boy Color, and I think the interesting thing about this game is that you can take care of 3 hamsters. And the last game I have that's Japanese is Hamster Paradise 4, and I think this is also a game for the Game Boy Color. And this is great because you can take care of 4 hamsters, which has never been done before in any game, to my knowledge. I forgot one game because it blended in with the hamster games. It's this Yu-Gi-Oh game. It's called Dark Duel Stories. It's a pretty common game for Game Boy Color, and I don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, so haven't gotten much play out of this yet. Okay, and the last thing I want to show is some manuals I have. I have the manual here for Boxel. I bought this with the game. There's actually like a section in there where you can draw your own course, which is strange because I don't think there's any course editor in the game, so you can just draw a course in the manual. Just cause, I guess. I don't know. I have Dr. Mario. I bought this separately. My local game store had like a bin of manuals I looked through, and I picked these out. The Super Mario Land manual. This is good because this is one of the big 5 that I want, so I also just need the box for this. And also like the inserts too, if you're picky. And then the last one, which is my favorite, of course, is Link's Awakening. This is my favorite Game Boy game, one of my favorite Zelda games, and I found the manual, so I got it. because ideally this is one of the ones that I want to get complete. Like one of the first ones I want to get complete, and I hope to have the game along with the DX version of the game soon. That's kind of my Game Boy collection. The goal is to collect all 400 whatever, even if it's 400, I don't know, North American Game Boy games. That's gonna take a lot of time. I don't want to do this in like any amount of time. It's just like a general goal, but the hope is that I can come back on here and update y'all on the progress, whether or not I'm collecting North American games or Japanese games or manuals or whatever, or systems. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my starting collection, and it's pretty good. I think the Pokemon trading card game is holding some weight right now. It's been really good to kind of dive back into gaming like this. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Leave a comment, maybe let me know what games you'd like to see me collect, or which ones you think I should look out for. Maybe I should collect Game Boy Advance. I don't know, that's kind of a daunting, I kind of want to stick to maybe a Game Boy and a Game Boy Color, but I don't know, maybe it's worth it. Tell me if it's worth it to go into Game Boy Advance right now, if I should stay away. Yeah, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.